In 2021, the devices surrounding the anomalous zone recorded a strong local emission in the eastern part of the Chernobyl anomalous zone. Such energy surges had been recorded before, but not of such strength. Scientists assumed that an anomalous energy emission had occurred somewhere outside the perimeter. But what could have caused it? The release was accompanied by an earthquake comparable to the explosion of a powerful bomb. Outside the zone, communication was lost at a depth of approximately 15 kilometers. Water began to arrive, destroying roads and flooding everything in its path. Passage to the eastern part of the zone from the known routes was impossible due to a strong flow of water and a surge in anomalous activity. A sudden surge of energy locked all living things behind the new perimeter, eliminating the possibility of emergency evacuation. A strong storm raged, preventing helicopters from raising to rescue people. The disaster lasted for about a month, and during that time completely changed the appearance of the area. The zone captured new territories and turned everything around into an impassable swamp with islands of safe land. It was unknown whether anyone remained alive in this area. When everything had calmed down, the question arose of finding out what had happened. Drones sent inside the eastern perimeter showed that the flooded area was surrounded by a strong flow of water, preventing the possibility of crossing by boat. This was a kind of boundary of the zone. Drones were unable to fly deep into the eastern perimeter. They inevitably ran into anomalies in the air. A safe map for helicopters to fly through was needed. With the help of military stalkers and scientists who had already worked in similar conditions, it was necessary to form a group to study the eastern perimeter. The task was set to assemble the first expedition of people who would not be afraid of the unknown and would be able to draw up a detailed map for the deployment of mobile laboratories. It was also unclear what they might encounter and what awaited them. These lands had new anomalous formations, monsters and terrain torn to shreds by an earthquake. 6 months were given to prepare for the expedition. After this time, several groups of scientists were ready, including those who had undergone military training. The first expedition moved to the eastern perimeter. It was decided to transport the scientists across the powerful stream of water using helicopters, then on foot into the depths of the eastern perimeter. The drop-off took place at night, since it was discovered that it was during the dark hours of the day that, for unknown reasons, the anomalous activity decreased. The pilots had to land the first expedition in a safe place and immediately leave the eastern perimeter. The zone really didn't like big equipment. The goal of the first expedition was to collect as much data possible for the next dash of military stalkers and mobile laboratories into the depths of the eastern perimeter, to understand the nature of what was happening, to make the appropriate measurements. The zone was a dangerous place and did not want to reveal its secrets. The entrance to the territory of the anomalous zone seemed insurmountable. And yet, free stalkers were already carrying new artifacts from the outskirts of the eastern perimeter, often at the cost of their lives. The stalkers' stories about the flora and fauna were very contradictory. Some said they saw bison and deer grazing peacefully surrounded by impassable swamps. Others described monsters that were completely different from those they had seen before. But everyone agreed that mortal danger lurked everywhere. It was very difficult to find a safe place. The properties of the artifacts during the study were striking in their characteristics. and also pushed for the accelerated capture of the entire eastern perimeter under control. Together with scientists and military stalkers, mercenaries from various customers were sent to the zone. Their role was classified. They worked directly for their employer. It is not difficult to guess who their employer was. As soon as the helicopters crossed the stream surrounding the eastern perimeter, the expedition's eyes were met with a terrible and beautiful sight. Dangerous anomalies literally covered the area with fields. Their glow was mesmerizing and brought delight and horror at the same time. The helicopters successfully reached the landing points. They landed in safe places, dropped off the scientists, turned their vehicles around and headed back. The pilots of one of the helicopters tried to leave the zone as quickly as possible, deviated from the assigned route, and got into a powerful anomaly. The helicopter seemed to get stuck in it for a moment, and then flew into pieces. Part of the cabin fell to the ground, not far from the first expedition. The remaining machines rushed into the distance, away from this place. The scientists were left alone with their mission and the anomalous zone, with meager equipment and limited supplies. A long mission lay ahead with virtually no communication with the outside world. And despite everything, they had to move only forward.